It's hard for me to tell. It just seems like they didn't necessarily know the sources to go to. And Ken generously offered to share everything, his slides, the post he wrote, the article. I mean, the generosity, there's never a boundary with Ken. You can always get help from him. And Linda, I went to react to your comment about being there and helping out also, and discovered they'd locked down all
Right.
the stuff, so I couldn't say hi, but it was brilliant, Ken. Not to take away anything from Terry, but I just want to acknowledge our coaching that we do with you all. We reach far and wide to different groups, but also we've told you before, we learn each time we present or talk with you all, we learn from you and we take that forward and help each other. So I will stop there and I will give the floor back to Madam Chair Lady. Thank you.
I appreciate it. And yes, we're doing this as a labor of love, but it's built on our knowledge. And that's one of the reasons that we love doing these programs. And I'll do that again in a moment. Ken, it was a great program this morning. I'm going to see whether we can't get you on the schedule to do
That
some.
was the plan. Actually,
I
I did
know.
it for the first time from Marty Latman's group, and it's kind of evolved from there because I got feedback from what other people
Yep.
wanted. So I did this for Tewksbury, and to get a sense from there, I added other things. So hopefully, I'll take more things, and the feedback I get is really helpful in the comments too. So I look forward to sharing this again with everyone, at a date we have to pick. And Sue, I did send you a message about getting together on Tuesday, hopefully. Looking forward to it.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, Ken, introduce yourself, please.
Oh, I thought that was it.
Oh, perfect. Well, you want to tell us a little bit about what you do?
Well, I work on in addition to the Passion Project, which was finishing up our Temple's website. I do My Network Essential, which is a searchable database for networking groups and events. Um, a longtime advocate of job search people. Looking forward to hearing what Terry has to say today. I did a post today. I got another book added to my library here, which I'm going to share. Yay, yay, yay. Qualified isn't enough. Um, by Gina Riley. And yeah, you got it too, Sue. Excellent. Is yours autographed though? Mine is autographed. But definitely looking forward to seeing what everyone has to say, and Terry as well as looking forward to your presentation.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. So I let them introduce themselves, Ken and Sue, because they're our great supporters and they're here all the time to support us. Forgot to introduce myself. So I'm Linda Brubaker. Welcome to the group that we know that you don't want to be a part of. We recognize that this is not your choice, that you're here because you're in career search. Career search is hard. Our goal is to give you the tips, tricks, networking, and support and all the coaching we can in this forum to help you move from this group to that next forever job. And as Ken said, Sue said, we build on the information we get not only from you, but from our colleagues, from all the research that we do, not just in terms of what's going on in the world of job search, but what our colleagues are actually saying, both recruiters, coaches, the professional organizations to which we belong that support us and support you. It's also based on our own experience. And I have over 30 years of experience in human resources as a human resources business partner, a hiring manager, a recruiter, both inside and outside. So yes, one of those dreaded executive search consultants, as well as now over 9 years as a career search coach. So we're bringing you all of that information. And yes, we're learning from you as you learn from us. That's me. We do this as our labor of love. Connection information is in the chat. Love to have a conversation with any of you to see how we can further support you. Now, that said, let's go to some of our quick wins. So if you have a quick win, please raise your digital hand so that we can recognize you. All right, TJ.
I got 2 screening interviews this week.
Great. And how did you find those roles?
LinkedIn and LinkedIn.
Excellent. Thank you. So direct application.
Yep.
Perfect. Very good. Thank you. Way to go. Let us know how it goes. Who else has a quick win? Remember, in this group, quick wins don't have to be, yay, I got a job. A quick win means you tried something new. You reached out to somebody for the first time. You had an interview. Maybe it didn't go anywhere, but you followed up. It could be that you had a new networking connection. Okay. Quick wins means something that you tried for the first time or something that's happening for you that you want to showcase because every win, everything you try is a quick win.
What are you having?
Sorry, I didn't see the next. No, anybody else? Wow. Oh, Barry. Okay.
Hi, everybody. Good to see all of you. I had an interview on Monday, but I don't think it's going to go anywhere because the interviewer told me they're usually interviewing young women for the position that I was applying for as like a phone answering front desk person in a medical office. So I suspect that's not going to go anywhere. They're 30 years of experience person who basically runs the front end isn't going to want somebody older than her coming in who may not be responsive to her in her mind, I would think. But I do have another interview set up for something else on Monday that I think will be a good opportunity for me. And I just heard from another law firm that I applied to, and they want to set up an appointment for next week as well to talk about like a file clerk type position there, which is something I'd be happy with. So
Excellent.
these things come in bunches. I've noticed
It
nothing is going on or everything is happening at once.
Exactly. So let me give you a suggestion. Okay. For that one who said, we normally hire young women for this role.
Mhm.
Can I ask a question? Is this a women's office, women's doctor's office?
It's
As
an
in-
office. It's an office with 5 doctors in the office.
No, what I
So
meant is,
it's
do they deal with women's issues?
it's an
So they support-
endocrinologist. It's a deal with
Perfect.
everybody.
Then I would use being male as an advantage.
I would think so, and I talked about that with the interviewer, the office manager that I interviewed with, told me that he could see that being an advantage in some circumstances because when they've had a man in working in the place before, they served as sort of a steadying influence on the other people that were in there. So who knows? I haven't heard back. I thought I might have heard back by now. I did follow up after the interview with an email to thank him and clarify a couple other things I talked with him about.
Perfect.
But like I
Okay.
say, I don't think it's going to come to anything. I'm more focused in on one of the meetings that I have next week, which is for a position I really would be good at, which is being the full-time Torah reader at a synagogue in the area.
Ooh, yeah.
And that would also free me up to, I'm doing that on a part-time basis right now at one of the local synagogues. But this would be something where they would actually be able to pay me what the going rate for doing that sort of thing is, which the place I'm at right now is unable to do. And so I'm hope that would be good because that would basically still leave me an opportunity to find something else part-time or even full-time if I could work it in during the week.
Absolutely.
So I'm still looking for, and then I'll see how that all plays out with mixing things.
Perfect.
So I'm cautiously optimistic, at least about the one, and I'll wait and see about the other next week.
Okay. Congratulations. Keep us posted.
Yes.
Kim,
Oh, and I found those on, you want to know where I found those?
I do.
One of them was from somebody I knew my sister and mentioned to her there's a job. So I had a direct call in to talk to the manager in the office. That was on the endocrinologist's office. One of them was the legal one, I think was through Indeed, if I recall.
Okay.
Because
So
when you're
direct
applying to law
application.
firms on Indeed, you can't go to their website and find anything. They strictly work through the agency they're using to find somebody. And then the other one I actually found on a site called Jewish Jobs. I don't know if anybody is familiar with that or has looked at that, but I look at that all the time because that's within my wheelhouse. So I found
Absolutely.
that
It's another job
opportunity.
search site. So there are
Yes.
lots of job search sites. LinkedIn isn't the only one. Okay. But wherever you can, if you are doing the direct application, go directly to their website. Okay. Rather than applying through.
Yes, I agree.
Absolutely. You get much faster response.
Yes.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Kim.
Hi. So what I did this past week was I wrote out 2 recommendations to 2 individuals that my coworkers that the company I was previously at let go of. My boss, the remaining resource management team is now no longer there. So that was good for me to write that, and with the help with AI to write it even a little bit better and give those recommendations. So, and just again, keeping in connection with them and letting them know about similar types of jobs for them. So that's it.
Perfect. I think that's a great idea. And then hopefully that will also give them the suggestion, right, to go ahead and do something for you.
Yes, they've already done that when they let me go. But thank you.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you. Good luck. Okay. Carl. Sorry, I'm putting you up, and then if you see yourself on screen, just keep going in the order in which you are up on screen. So Carl, you're next.
Yeah, I just had an on-site interview just south of Cleveland with a number of the C-suite members for an opportunity that would be interesting if it worked out. It isn't what I entered this journey looking for, but it's a good enough fit, I think, to keep me developing and going. So we'll see if that turns out to an offer here. I feel good about it, but of course, so does the employer. They need to feel good about it too.
Absolutely. So again, where did you find the job?
A recruiter reached out to me.
Perfect. And the idea of you said it wasn't exactly what you had gone into this looking for. Can you tell us a little bit about that? What that means? So you're broadening to something new or going back?
Well, my going in proposition was to stay in manufacturing in a profit and loss general management capacity. This would be more operations specific, but a very large scope. And it's also in the service sector versus making stuff, it's installing stuff. So again, it's not staying in manufacturing, that's fine. It's not P&L, it's fine because it's a pretty big scope within the operation space.
Wonderful. And I think that's a great idea. It's also one of the things that you all should remember is that the skills you have, the experience you have is not industry specific. Okay. It is usable, transferable to lots of different locations and organizations. So keep us posted.
Yeah, I
Let us know how
definitely
we can
did.
support you.
Yeah, well, I used a little bit, as I think someone else just mentioned, right? Use a little bit of AI to say, okay, how to maybe pitch the transferability without using that word, right? Or agnostic, which don't use that word either, right? But to help them identify what are the 3 main problems that company's facing. They just recently through with the merger and all that kind of good stuff. And then what are those 3 problems? Then I could bring my own stories, car stories, star stories to show where I have exactly done those kind of things, right? So that was helpful in terms of interview prep. And I also worked really with AI to ask for each of the different interviewers, because it was 4 different interviewers throughout the course of the day, what would be, executive level type good questions to ask, given that company, where that company is in its journey right now and the challenges they're facing, and how that person's role would be interfacing with the role that I would be taking the position for. And I think in general, the questions hit the mark with that kind of going back and forth a little bit with some assistance. So, and both on the interview prep side, took a little bit of time, but I thought it was hopefully a good investment. We'll see.
Good. Congratulations. Keep us posted.
Will do.
Okay. Yes.
I'm assuming Kate, I see a bunch
I am seeing Kate. Yes, sorry.
Excellent. Okay. I just wanted to say that I have gotten a couple of job referrals from a couple of new places. One is LinkedIn. They are after me to be a data annotator, which I'm scratching my head about trying to figure this out. And then AI has actually pulled together a couple of things from my previous resume and pointed out that I'm a Cisco Learning Solutions partner with a whole bunch of things in the video distance space and WebEx and a few other things, and that I should elevate myself as an expert in certain areas that I didn't think of. And I thought that was a great idea. And then I'm getting, of course, a ton of spam on a bunch of AI jobs in my texts, and I can never tell. In my opinion, most of that junk is spam. Of course, they talk about a lot of money up front, and since I'm looking for sort of an interim job before I figure out the big picture, I'm kind of pulled into them and wasting probably my time. And I did notice that Claude, as much as my love affair with Claude is going on, he completely neglected to put an entire company's history into my nice abbreviated ATS resume, which I kind of was shocked at because he was pulling a lot of the work I did with the pharmaceutical industry that came from that job into all kinds of other things. So word to the wise, I haven't figured out how to master the efficiencies of using AI. I love him for ideas. I love him for putting together big picture stuff. But I'm still in overwhelm. So I love all that. And then one question I had, I used to use ExecuNet a lot. Is ExecuNet gone? A lot of people are telling me they're not familiar with ExecuNet. Did ExecuNet fall off the map? What's going on with them?
I haven't seen much from ExecuNet recently. You can try. Last time I heard, though, they were trying to charge people for some of what they were doing.
I'm sure there was a membership model too, but I just wondered
It was.
because it had great context, especially in the Cisco systems world. But thank you.
You're welcome. David.
Well, tomorrow I'm going to have a virtual interview for an outreach and data coordinator position with this nonprofit called Make a Day. They want me to rebuild their database of donations and possibly other things. I'm not sure I'm the best person for it, but I figure I might as well interview and see what it's like.
Oh, that's fine. And how did you hear about that job?
Went to a job fair in April and gave them my resume, and then about a week ago they got back to me about that resume. So that's how it went.
Got it. Very good. Congratulations.
Thank you. Okay, on whoever's next.
Yep. Roz.
Hi, everyone. It's Roz. So I have three things. One, Kim Lavery reached out to me, and two, Charles Grunberg reached out to me for endorsements. They wanted me to endorse them because of what you recommended, Linda. So I did that, and they in turn did the same for me. So thank you. And I would encourage all of us to do that. And then the other thing with constructive feedback and recommendations, I updated my banner here. So again, I would encourage everybody to maybe consider doing that. It just helps to identify who you are, what you're looking for, or what you're known for. And since I'm looking for project manager / program manager opportunities, I thought this would be a good way to kind of imprint that into your mind when you're looking at my picture or we're in a virtual group like this. That's
Perfect.
all. I'm going back on mute.
No, I like that. But the idea back there of, what you do, I think that's a great way of doing it.
Thank you.
Okay. And now, Marilyn.
Well, I have not had a single interview since February, and this week I have two. So that's
Wow.
exciting. Yeah, it feels like the dam has broken, which is really great. And I want to second something someone just said about Claude. I actually used Claude for just tailoring resumes, and boy, were there a lot of mistakes. So if you're using it, I mean, like some of them were formatting errors. Like on my resume, I have my title in bigger letters than the company and things like that. And in a couple of cases, it switched those so that the company was first, and it also was hallucinating. In other words, it was adding skills and tools that I don't have. So if you're I mean, it's really great for a lot of things, but be careful. Be sure and do your proofreading. I think it was Kate, yeah, that you said that was something it had left off completely. I had things like that too. So
yeah. So any AI, you have to ask it the right prompts, but the idea is it can't write things for you. Okay. And we can tell the same way that you could by that it was hallucinating, adding things differently, formatting it differently, doing a variety of other things. We can tell. And not only that, but companies can tell, recruiters can tell. They're recognizing at least 70% or more of the resumes coming in are AI generated, and they don't like it. Okay. And I'm hearing in some cases it's 80%. Please don't do that. Yes, customize your resumes, whether you're going in through a referral, whether you're going in any other way. You want to be able to make sure that you're making yourself the obvious candidate, somebody we want to talk to. Your resume is the first thing we see about you in those systems. It needs to be a reflection of you, your words, your language, what you find is important and things that you can absolutely speak to during the course of your conversations. It has to be you. Okay, you've got something else. Yep.
I had a follow-up question to that. The formats that these AI, they call it the ATS version, or shrinking the resume down. When they take positions that fit the position and they start putting them so they're not in sequential order, is there a consultancy or somewhere to go on what the recommended format of the resume should be? Are you formatting it to the job specifically? In which case, different jobs that I've had in the past kind of float to the front that fit more purposefully, and then the dates are kind of left hanging there and look odd to me. Is there a reference to go on, no matter what AI is doing, here's what you should pull that resume back to?
Absolutely. Okay.
Curious.
Yes, there are certain things that should be formatted for the job. And that would be the skills that you're looking that match the job. You want to highlight the accomplishments that match the job. You want to write that about, okay, that professional summary in a way that says, here's what I bring to this job. But the experience section, other than a couple of little tweaks if you want to, that's always in the same order. It is reverse chronological order, no matter what the job is and which roles match the job best. Always. If you only want to go back 10 to 15 years, because what you've done before is more relevant to what you're looking at, add another section under experience, a different section called additional related experience. And then you can list those company names and job titles, no dates, no bullets, but it gives you the opportunity to list only those relevant additional jobs. But once you've listed them, now you can refer to them in your skills and you can refer to them in your accomplishments.
And you're saying that section goes below the chronicalize.
Yeah, it's a new section. Yeah.
Okay. Thank
you. But you shouldn't be formatting a resume differently for each job in terms of that different information. Yes, not different format. And the only thing that you're talking about when you were talking about an ATS formatted resume, no text boxes, no tables, no columns, no icons, no graphics, no pictures.
No bullets. Bullets, okay.
Absolutely, bullets are okay.
Well, I have a monster resume that I think was growing into 4 or 5 pages. So it feels like cement trying to go pull it all out. So I was actually grateful that AI was having a field day with pulling all the good stuff and saying, you are underselling yourself.
And that's okay, but be very careful with what it actually adds to the resume itself. And there is a resume template in the private group, and we'll do another resume review session. There are a couple of them on LinkedIn, not on LinkedIn, on YouTube that we've done previously. So if you search Career Search Lunch and Learn and some of the ones that we've done there for resume reviews or resume do's and don'ts, you'll see some of that there too.
Yeah, I struggle with this resume for job because every single job I've ever had, I got from networking. So I don't know how to network in the age of AI. So thank you all for being here to network.
You're very welcome. Okay. Anything else? I saw a couple of new people, but we've already gone a half an hour in. And so new people, we see how many new people do we have, Sue?
We have 2 Andrews, one from the UK and the other I don't know where from. They both gave pretty good descriptions
information in the chat.
Yeah, so I think we should turn towards the program. I welcome them. We had some exchanges and they're contributing.
And I appreciate that. And so if we have time in another session, we'll do that. But for right now, we'd love to get to the meat of the program. Okay. And what I want to do is introduce you, or let Terry introduce himself. To Terry Seaman. I have to tell you one quick story before I let Terry introduce himself. Terry was the very first expert speaker that we had on Lunch and Learn.
Is that right?
You were, and you actually did it this is your third visit with us, but the very first time that you did it, unfortunately, I couldn't attend. So, okay. So Sue actually did it for me and I watched the replay. But I'm so excited that you're here. Actually, that was one of the only lunch and learns I've ever had to not be at. But things happen. And I was so glad that Sue was able to keep it going and that you were here. So Terry, we're really looking forward to this presentation and to learning from you.
Thanks, Linda. And it's great to be back. And hi, everybody. Special hello to Sue, who was the pinch hitter host when I was here last time. Also want to say hello to Carrie and to Ken, some of my fellow job search strategists out there that I interact with on LinkedIn quite a bit. Today's topic, staying motivated during a long job search, is one that I am very personally invested in. Earlier in my own career, back in my corporate days, I experienced job loss multiple times and found myself in very long job searches, one time over a year. And so a lot of what I'll share with you today comes from my personal experience, but there's also research here, as well as the strategies, tactics, and wisdom that I've picked up from my fellow job search experts, such as Linda, Sue, Ken, Carrie, and many others, a couple of whom I may mention as I go through the presentation here. Linda, just to double check time, do I have about half an hour?
Or longer if you want. We go until 12:30 or until 1:30.
So I can go even longer. Okay, great.
You can. Okay. And one quick question for you before you get started. We are a very active group, Terry. So if people have questions, do you want them to ask as we go, or do you want them to ask at the end?
Ask at any point in time. Ask a question, make a comment. If you've got a story you want to contribute, I love hearing them. And I will make time at the end for additional questions and comments that you might have held on to during the presentation.
Perfect. And
Linda,
go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt, but Carol pointed out that Terry, you're sharing, oh, you saw it, Linda, presenter view. So I didn't know whether you got onto the wrong, you got onto that view particularly, but we can see your upcoming slide, and I think you want just the screen.
Very good.
Yes,
Thank you.
what I was going to say.
Thank you for noticing that. Hang on a second. Let's see. How do I switch that?
Terry, click on display settings or share your other screen. Yes, swap.
What I love, as I said, is we all learn from each other. And honestly,
Yeah, click on the swap there if you can.
It looks like it's grayed out. Just when you go to sharing, share the other screen. Share a different screen, the one that's in slideshow mode.
Okay, hang on just a moment here.
You'll have to probably unshare.
Do that first, you can do that.
All right, let's try that again.
Technical
Linda,
issues.
is it because you are still pinned also?
No, it shouldn't be, because everybody has the ability to share. He's a co-host, he can share.
Gotcha.
How's that look?
Blank screen, but it'll get there. There we go. Perfect.
Everybody can see?
Yep.
All right, I see bunches of thumbs up. Thanks, everybody, for that. All right, here we go. It can often feel really crappy when you're in a job search. This quotation here, I can't keep going. I've endured so many rejections these past weeks and months. I can't take it anymore. I'm beaten. I'm done, is actually a real LinkedIn post I saw a week or so ago. And it was even more explicit than that. I have toned it down a little bit for this slide. This is an actual job seeker that I know personally. He's been looking for over a year, and I think he just needed to get this off his chest. I know he has not thrown in the towel and that he is interviewing, but he let this feeling out, and I thought, oh, I've got to capture that, and I've got to include it, because many job seekers right now, perhaps many right here on this call, are feeling exhausted, frustrated, maybe even downright despondent. And I'm happy that I'm here today to talk about how you can really control your own outlook on this brutal job search that many of us are experiencing today. So that's really the goal of this presentation. By the way, I'll be sharing these slides with Linda for your private LinkedIn group, so you'll all get this at some point. If there is a slide here that you want to do a print screen on, obviously feel free to do that, but know that you'll be getting these shortly. Earlier today, one of my online colleagues, I don't really know this individual personally yet, I know her through LinkedIn, had a post that I thought was very suitable for today. So this is a screenshot of her post. And here's what she said, just in case it's a little small on your screen, I'll read it to you. You need not be an optimist. You need not be a pessimist. You do need to be a realist. Today's job market isn't what it was 2 years ago or even 6 months ago. It takes more time, more work, more effort, more retooling to identify the right roles. It takes more emotional and intellectual investment to write a resume that makes qualifications very, very clear. And please don't get me started on the 15 minutes it takes to fill out a job application. So please be gentle with yourself. Job search is no longer a long road. It's pushing a boulder up one hill after another. Take a moment, or ideally several each day, to be awed by you. Take a few moments at the end of each day to thank yourself for being the you who persists. Just beautiful. I thought that was just beautiful. I left a comment on this for her. I don't know if she's seen it yet. I haven't had a chance to circle back, but I really think she's captured there very much some of what it is that we're experiencing right now, and how we can keep pushing that boulder up the hill, but at the same time feel positive about ourselves and about our future. So let's look at these 5 ideas that I posted about recently on LinkedIn. I don't know if you saw that post, but hopefully you'll see it after today, where I basically wrote in the form of a LinkedIn post what I'm presenting to you today in the form of an interactive workshop. We're going to actually touch on these 5 one at a time, but this is kind of the overview of where we're going. The importance of breaks, the importance of self-care, the importance of positivity, the importance of time management, and the importance of small steps. So here we go. Consider the importance of breaks in your job search. When you were working, you took breaks during the day, didn't you? I mean, most of us do. We take bathroom breaks, coffee breaks. Some of us who are smokers take smoke breaks. I'm not advocating smoking, but it's just an example of a type of break. We might take a chit-chat break to go chat with a coworker a few cubicles away, depending upon the type of environment in which you work. So we take breaks at work. Why don't we take breaks when we're looking for work? And I'm not talking about a huge break, though it could be a break. Linda, you just posted the other day about taking a weekend break. And I thought, what a lovely post and what a great thing to give yourself permission to do, to take a weekend break. And I hope that all of you here on the this meeting today saw that post of Linda's. And if you didn't, track it down. Be sure that you're following Linda's for her content. And that was a really good post about breaks. Because breaks are a way for us to regain our energy. They can help us to get ready to come back renewed and re-inspired to go hit that job search effort again. I like to say, listen to your body. If you're feeling achy, it might be that you've been sitting too long. Maybe you need to move that rear end of yours. move those legs. Stand up. Flex your shoulders. Stretch. Listen to your body. Your body is a great source of feedback to you about how you're doing, because you want to be at your best during the job search. You never know when a recruiter or a hiring manager or a great connection is going to reach out to you for a conversation, and you want to sound upbeat, energized, enthusiastic. So listen to your body and restore yourself by just doing whatever it is that would be helpful during that break. There are all kinds of ways to take a break. You can listen to music. You can take a nap. Now that I've officially become a senior citizen and officially retired, I'm a big proponent of naps. You may not be able to do that, but it's an example of a break. I mentioned a coffee break before. Maybe you like tea. Go make a cup of tea and take your time making the tea. Be mindful of the process of making that tea. Keep an eye on the tea bag as you're steeping it in the hot water, watching the water turn color and take on the flavor of the tea. Some of you here might be into meditation or yoga, perhaps a short yoga break. Read something during a break. Daydream. Daydreaming is fine. Sometimes daydreaming is the source of the breakthrough idea that you've been looking for your next move. Or get out of the house if you can. Get out of your apartment, go outside, and if you have nature nearby, trees, grass, I know the pollen count is very high, but getting outside in nature can be very refreshing. Or even just take a look at some photos of nature, perhaps in your own past photos on your Facebook profile, if you keep photos there like I do. There are all kinds of ways to take a break. Thinking about breaks before we got started here today, I was thinking there, you could do a phone break. You could pick up the phone and call somebody here in this group for a 5-minute chat or a 10-minute chat. You could open up Google and you could just type in something like, hey Google, give me some inspiration from the Stoic philosophers, and boom, you'll have link after link after link of what the Stoic philosophers had to say about controlling the controllable and being bold. Fortune favors the bold. There's so many great Stoic philosophers out there to read. So there are lots of different ways to take a break. I'm curious if one my phone is listening and it started to give me Stoic philosophers. Open up the chat if you would, and if there's a favorite way that you like to take a break that you're willing to share, just put it into the chat. And the chat on these Zooms, as Linda has said, is such a great resource. And that way, everybody who looks at the chat in the future will have an archive of ways in which you can take breaks. So go ahead and put that in there if you have a favorite way you like to take a break. The second of my tips is to put self-care at the top of your priorities list. Take good care of you. If you're not taking good care of yourself, it's going to be risky, maybe even dangerous for you to proceed with your job search, because it's so important, as I mentioned before, to be energized, be enthusiastic, be positive when opportunity knocks at your door. And really, the way to do that, the secret, maybe it's not such a secret, is take good care of you. And there's so many great ideas for self-care. A couple have already surfaced, taking breaks, getting outside, be sure you're well hydrated every day, make time to relax in your busy schedule as a job seeker, Reach out and talk to people that love you and care for you and support you, who want to see you succeed. Do something. You know, my colleague here in New Jersey, Joey Himmelfarb, will throw something at me when I say take on a project, because he wrote his book, Don't Paint the Kitchen, as a counterbalance to what I'm recommending here. But all of these things, you know, they have two sides, right? Do something, a project, a task, a hobby that gives you a sense of meaning and accomplishment. And, you know, that comes both from my own experience as well as the experience of others, but it also comes from some very interesting research from the happiness school out, I believe it's the University of Pennsylvania. If anybody wants to correct me on that, please go right ahead if I've got the wrong school. But they have a school there that's been studying well-being, resilience, happiness for decades now, and have published all kinds of interesting papers and best-selling books. And when we do something that gives us that sensation of meaning and accomplishment, even though we don't have that job offer in hand yet, we feel better about ourselves. And having that kind of good feeling really pays off in terms of your overall well-being and health. Along these lines of taking good care of yourself, you may have missed it. I only caught this the other day, that this month, May, is Mental Health Month. And so here are 10 ways to look after your mental health from the UK. I think they're probably all things that you might do, but I thought it wouldn't hurt to put this into the presentation just as a reminder of the importance of these things that all contribute each in their own way to looking after our mental health. You'll notice that little ribbon image with the star in the middle. Do something you're good at. That's kind of along the same lines of what I was just talking about. Keeping in touch with others, staying active, eating well. Just a lot of really good ideas for your mental health. Open up the chat again if you are kind of getting in the habit of this. And if there's anything that really helps you look after your mental health, go ahead and make a note of it there. Again, your chat's a great way of keeping track of thoughts that you are having right now that will benefit everybody here in the group when they look at the chat later. I think it's also very important to amp up, meaning, you know, turn the dial up on positivity. There's so much negativity, right? There's negativity in the news. There's negativity in the job search in the form of ghosting, disappointments, setbacks, rejections. So we need to turn the dial up on positivity. And I don't mean what some writers call toxic positivity. I don't mean that at all. I mean real, genuine positivity. That kind of thing that comes from spending time with positive people that you know. People that you know that have a great outlook on life. I'm thinking of somebody like Linda Brubaker, who's so inspiring to me. And people that you know in your own life, they're just source of inspiration. And kind of bathing in inspiring thoughts and inspiring vistas, you know, looking at things that are positive. It could be works of art. It could be natural things like waterfalls, beaches, churches, you know, other forms of architecture. Something that inspires in you a sense of awe and wonder and beauty. All of these kinds of things help you to turn the dial up on positivity. Your positive thoughts, believe it or not, are your greatest weapon against stress. And that is not just me talking. That's William James, the father of American psychology, who famously said the greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another. And so what you have right up here is your greatest stress buster, your ability to shift your thoughts, to reframe what might look like a rejection into redirection, a problem into opportunity. So that you have the power to do it. It's hard to remember sometimes when we're feeling down, but I'm really hitting this one hard because I want you to carry this away with you. You have the greatest weapon against stress right there between your ears. And so staying positive is, something that can take a whole, bunch of different forms. Here are just a few. I love the way that you opened the meeting, Linda, with the wins, because that's my first bullet point here. Celebrate even the small victories, the small wins, no matter how small. Recognize them, appreciate them, share them, like you've done here in the group. Share them. The reason for taking it to that point, the recognize, appreciate, and share, is that it increases the possibility of repeating it, of doing it again. Because sometimes recognizing it, appreciating it, sharing it, and having people react to what you're sharing can sometimes really help you to see, oh, maybe I can make that happen again. And that's what you're trying to do in a job search, is make things happen, right? Another way to stay positive is to practice gratitude. Take time to appreciate the people in your life that are there, that love you and support you, that spend time with you, that are willing to listen to you, that are willing to give you input. The other things that you have, these are all ways in which you can shift your perspective from woe is me to go is me. I just made that up. It's pretty awful. Don't write that one down. Stay optimistic. Believe in yourself and your abilities. Don't let job loss define you. Job loss can be awful. I remember being marched out of a building one time with all my belongings in a box, and you felt like it was a perp walk, and it was just horrible, embarrassing, and I try not to ever think about it. And whenever I do think about it, I get angry again. So you can't let that define you. Believe in yourself. Believe in who you are and what you can bring to a team, to an organization, to a company. And try to look at rejections as opportunities for growth. Because in every rejection, there's a lesson to be learned. Open up the chat again, and my question on this slide is, what helps you to stay positive? Just put something in there that you and others can read later, of ways in which you can nudge and turn the dial on that positivity for yourself to counteract the negativity that kind of comes with the territory of job search. What's something that helps you to stay positive? Put that into the chat. And time management is something that's helpful no matter where you are, in a job, in between jobs, at home, in a small business, wherever you might find yourself. Time management is a very, very useful skill set. You can use time management as a job seeker to take greater charge of what you can control. There's a lot in a job search that's outside of your control, as I think Linda mentioned earlier. That's so true. But there is still a lot that you can control. For example, you can create boundaries for yourself, boundaries around job search time, and you can also help balance your job search time with your quality time to relax, take breaks, do some reading, do some research, relax, get outside, work on the garden, whatever it might be. So use your time management methods that help you so much in your job. Use them in your job search as well. And open up the chat box again on this one. And I'm curious if anybody has any particular time management tips that they found particularly useful in their job search that they'd like to share. And just throw that right into the chat. And again, it'll be there as part of the record that we're creating from today's presentation. What time management tips are very helpful to you? One that's very helpful to me is to write things down. I found as the years have gone by that if I try to commit something to memory, it's a good way to lose it. But if I write it down, there's a really good chance I'm going to remember it later. And then the last of my initial round of points is go small. We want to go big and finding that next forever job, as Linda likes to say, and don't not do that. Certainly do that. But in going big, go small. Take small steps. Celebrate the small wins. I like to say the little things add up. The little things add up. That's one of my favorite expressions that I got from my mother. She had a million expressions. They all these sayings just kind of got imprinted on me from when I was a little kid. Remind yourself each morning about two things. These have become habits of mine. First is remind yourself each morning to say, have a good day to yourself and to others. And ask yourself each day, who can I help today? Who can I help today? Maybe there's somebody here on this particular Zoom that you've already helped perhaps, or that you could help today, maybe in a very small way. But don't talk yourself out of doing it just because it's small, because remember, the little things add up. So this is just kind of my what's the thing before the final thing? The penultimate, is that what that thing is? This is my closing before the closing. As many have said, job search is a marathon, so you got to pace yourself, take breaks, keep in good shape. And good shape means exercise, activity, eating right, getting enough sleep. Keep a goal in mind, stay positive, keep going. Be sure to avoid isolation, stay active, and plugged into your connections, because your relationships are the key to your success. So I have some bonus slides, but I'm going to hold off on them and open it up now for all of us to chat about what we've just gone through here with these tips. So let me stop the share. So what has come into the chat? What questions, what comments, what great ideas? I'd love to hear.
So if you've got some questions, ideas that you want to share, please raise your digital hand and we'll bring you up. I know that there's some questions in the chat that I need to go back and find. Great presentation, by the way. Can you please show that last word slide again, Terry? It was one of the ones. And the slides will be in the private group. Terry's agreed to share them with us.
And I just want to let Terry know the chat has been on fire. Everybody answered all of the, tell me in the chat your mindset. Tell me what you do about, I mean, you'll be shocked when you see how many different ideas and all related, but really supporting each other.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. Whoever asked for the last slide, is it this one or the one before?
Marianne, which slide did you want? Yeah. Can you unmute?
This one, the one that he's got it. It's right on the screen now.
Okay. There it is. There it is. So
thank you.
You bet. So any comments, questions, great ideas that came into the chat that anybody would like to share before I do show my bonus slides?
Oh, I thought that was your bonus slide.
No, I have about 4 more bonus slides.
Awesome.
I figured
keep
the presentation right on point, and then add a little bit at the end as well.
Perfect.
Sweet.
Keep it going.
Linda, I'm sort of jumping in if you don't mind.
Please, no,
from the last one on, what helps you with time management, there were really good reminders that we all get very involved in our tasks, and we probably, I'm putting 3 or 4 people's responses together. The reminders were choose your most important and do it at the best time for you, but
Good.
also allocate the time it deserves, not the time that you have, and go down the rabbit hole. So a lot, the chat's just been phenomenally supportive and idea full.
That that reminds me of one that's a favorite of mine about procrastination. I do a whole presentation on time management that perhaps maybe in the future, Linda, if you wanted to schedule that, we could. But on procrastination, and that is to break the task down into small bites, small chunks, and that way you can do a bite or do a chunk in a small available piece of time, and not worry about getting the whole thing done, because you're nibbling away at it, taking one little bite at a time. That's how I do my tax returns, for example. One little bite at a time over a period of usually about a week or so. And then by the end of the week, they're done.
Perfect. Okay, you do have a couple of people with hands raised.
Yes.
Okay. So, let's see. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to pronounce your name for me. Is it
Shaylee?
Shalia.
Shalia. Hey, Shalia.
Hi. So first, you gave a beautiful presentation. I really appreciated a number of things that you said. And in all honesty, every time I hear keep your network going, I just feel like it kind of crushes me. Because I'm not spectacularly social. I have a few close friends, but and yeah, I have lots of people over for 4th of July, but the big strong network, I don't feel like that's me. And the go out and make one feels even worse. So I don't know how to counteract that. Do you have any suggestions?
I am here to lift that burden from you, Shalia. Get ready. I'm going to lift it. Your family, your friends, the people you have over for that party, that's your network right there. You already have them. Put your arms around them and embrace them. That's them. That's the network. And the people that they know are the 2nd degree people. And the people that they know are the 3rd degree people. So they're there. They're there. Believe it or not, the network is there. You don't have to create it. You don't have to have the magic networking wand. Start with the people that you know, the people that I like to call the people who love you and support you. That's the start of your network, and it moves out from there.
Okay, thank you so much.
You bet. I hope that helps a little bit.
It doesn't have to be feel intimidating. You've got 52 people still on screen in this room.
Yeah, right here.
We're all part of your network. Okay. There are 600 people in that private group. That's now your new network.
Exactly.
Connect with us. If you comment with people, networking has gotten this bad reputation, and Ken and Sue and I and Carrie are all trying to come up with a better name for it, because I think the word itself is intimidating. But we're going to be talking about networking. We're going to be doing networking a little bit next week. We're going to break into small groups and talk to one another, learn about each other. You've got that support system there. It doesn't have to be reaching out to strangers. There are some ways that you can connect with people, and we're going to share some of those ideas and give you opportunities to do that too.
And thank you, Marianne, for that suggestion. That looks great. Thank you.
All right. Kate, are you up next, I think?
She is.
You're on mute, though, Kate.
I know. It took me a while to get my mouse to communicate. I want to thank Terry for having this topic, because you made me think of things I hadn't thought of, and I was going down that rabbit hole. So I'm going to give you the suggestions backwards, because I'm seeing this theme. I took a conference once that talked about putting the word "and." So when you get down into that negative mindset, you say, "and I am a great person," or "and I am very creative," or "and I have all these things." I find that really powerful when I think of it. I have a mom that growing up, she used to, if I complained about kids being mean to me or something going wrong, she would say, "And what did you do?" And I would get so frustrated. And I'd say, "I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about all these other people." So I like now I can retrospectively say, I see where she was going and how I need to flush away the complaints and bring in the good stuff and what is my ownership in that. And then the exercise snacks have meant a lot to me because I tend to be very intensive when I'm on a computer or working on something, and I find that I am just frozen, and getting up and actually moving and getting those skeletal muscles to work and getting the blood flow back is really critical for me. And then the last one I will share from another retreat I went on is the Mother Teresa quote that really part of, and this is my spirituality, is we're here on earth to help people recognize they're not alone. So I give hugs to everybody. We're not alone.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
You're absolutely not alone. Okay, that's why
Can I make a comment?
who's we?
Ellen, here.
Yes, Ellen.
It's on the lines of being positive. If we're feeling stuck, and I just gave it away, rather than saying I'm stuck or whatever you're feeling, say I'm feeling stuck. So we don't identify like that's me. Just say I'm feeling stuck. I'm feeling, tired. Not I am tired. So that way we kind of remove ourselves from that negative feeling and it helps us to move in the positive direction.
Ellen, I like that a lot. And I want to put it together with Kate's comment about using and. I'm feeling tired and I'm going to get up and move around.
There you go. Instead of but. Let's not say but.
Hey,
yeah.
Amazing what we can do together on these Zooms.
Thank you.
I always like when that happens, when we start cooking together and we come up with stuff that was not part of the plan, and here it is. And I hope you all take it with you.
Great. Teamwork.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes. Being positive.
Perfect.
Shall I proceed into my bonus slides?
Yes, please.
Well, here in New Jersey, we have a gentleman named Marty Latman. Ken knows him very well. Marty and I go way back. Marty is another job search strategist and advisor who does a lot of pro bono outreach to people to help them find their next jobs. And he has a saying, don't forget the ABC of networking, and that is always be connecting. Always be connecting. That means when you're on a checkout line at a store, when you are at the doctor's office waiting to be called for your appointment, when you are wherever you might be, always be connecting. Always be open to a conversation with somebody, because you never know where a conversation may take you. So always be connecting and stay connected to others during a job search, but don't only network when you need something. Remember, when you land, continue networking. Stay in touch with Linda and the group. Continue to stay connected once you have that next job that you're so eagerly seeking. There are lots of ways to network, attending industry events. I think somebody during the sharing wins period said they went to a job fair and got a job lead. Absolutely, why not? You can connect with people on LinkedIn as well. So you connect it in real life and you connect online. And as I mentioned before, don't go it alone. And there's so many ways to avoid this pitfall. Join up with others. For a cup of coffee. That cup of coffee could be in real life or it could be virtual. Meet in small groups in addition to meeting in a group this size. Go to networking events if you can. Ask for help when you need it. Don't suffer in silence, and be there to help others as often as you can, because a lot of folks are in the same boat that you are in and could use that shoulder, that ear, that heart to open up to them. So don't go it alone. And my last bit of motivational advice for you all is don't neglect the importance of inspiration. Look at that word inspire. It means to breathe in, to breathe in. You can inspire yourself and you can be an inspiration to others. One of the ways in which you can inspire others and yourself is to lift others up. And that lifting others up can be, a quote. I like to share quotes. Others here obviously share quotes as well. You can lift somebody up physically, help them up a hill as you're all pushing your boulders up that hill. I like to end with this picture. This is a little boy in Atlanta from a few years ago, maybe 10 years ago, maybe not that long, who became a media sensation when he and his dad went out on the streets and brought hamburgers to homeless people. And they did not set out to become media sensations. They just set out to feed the hungry, and the media caught up with it. And when I saw the story online, it totally opened up my heart to the idea of doing something good for others. Not only makes the world a better place, it actually makes you a better human being, and opens your heart up to be there for others as we all go through these challenging times. So with that, I am actually at the end. That is the end of my slides that I prepared for today, and you'll be getting all of them sometime soon. So stopping the share and coming back to the group for any additional comments, questions that anyone would like to bring up.
Perfect. Thank you, Terry. This was fantastic.
I'm
I
glad
love.
to hear that.
No, just take a look at the chat when you're done, and you'll see.
I am definitely planning to do that.
It's very active. Lots of people going on there. It's okay. There we go. Ralph, you've got a question or a comment. Unmute. Ralph, unmute.
Sorry.
There you go.
Terry, what's one advice that you constantly give, but people don't seem to follow for some reason, and why?
What's that? Well, the hardest part of job search, I believe this for many, many years. I started actually professionally working as a job search coach in 2009, and right away and all the way down to today, I think the hardest part of job search is the networking part, the reaching out to others, especially the reaching out to people you know because you don't want to be a burden, and the reaching out to people you don't know because you talk yourself into this loop of why would they bother to talk to me? So getting over that networking hump, I think, is the hardest part. And it's the most important part because if you don't get over that networking hump, then you're conducting your job search at a great disadvantage. And that great disadvantage is, as I'm sure you know, Ralph, is that most jobs, something like 75% or more, are found through connections. Found through connections. And connecting, that's networking. And I know we want to find a better word for it, and hopefully we will at some point. But I think that's the hardest part right there of everything that I've talked about today. I don't know. What do you think, Ralph? What's the hardest part for you that you found?
For me, I think I would have to say networking as well, because I am constantly reaching out to people and saying, "Hey, how can I help you? What, let's talk." And it's that initial phone call or that initial video call, whatever you want to call it, or that initial email that gets people stuck.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you almost have to force them in that direction. And then once they start talking, then you can shut them up. Then they'll just keep talking and it's the best thing, because then I get to sit back and just let them keep talking. But it's that initial push that people can't seem to be, to get out of their own way sometimes.
And what you just said is so true. Once you can get past that little log jam that we're feeling, and it's just our own feelings, our own fears. But if we can push through that little logjam, you're right, the floodgates open, and the person that you want to talk to just starts talking and won't shut up.
Yes.
It's a wonderful thing.
Yep. And unfortunately, I can't just go around forcing people to talk, because at some point you're going to find somebody and be like, leave me alone, I don't want to talk to you. But I keep I keep putting myself out there and be like, hey, I'm here, schedule some time, we'll talk. If you want, I'll set it up, and then we'll go from there. And but I for some people, it's just that they're stuck in their ways.
Yeah.
They'll complain that they can't find a job, but when you offer help, they go, yeah, no, I'm not good at that. I'm like, well, I'm helping you to get good at that, and best part of it is not costing you anything. So
Ralph, such an excellent point, and you just triggered another thing I wanted to mention earlier, but I kind of zoomed past my own thought. But here it is, a little late in the game, but a couple of times along the way today already, the concept of feedback has been mentioned. I think, Linda, you mentioned it. I think I mentioned it. Feedback's very powerful. Feedback is information, if we're open to it, that helps us to see how we are doing with something, whether it's networking, our job performance, whatever it might be. And if we can take that information in, it can help us to improve in that area, improve as a parent, improve as a manager, improve as a worker, as a job seeker, whatever. There's a flip side to feedback that a lot of people have never heard of before, though it's been around for many years. It's called Feedforward. And it's originated by a coach named Marshall Goldsmith, who I encourage you all to follow on LinkedIn. Marshall publishes content almost every day that's very inspiring. Feedforward is when you ask somebody else a very intentional and strategic question. For example, it might be, Ralph, I really struggle with networking, and I'm wondering if you've got 3 tips for me on how to be a better networker. You see how that's different from feedback? Feedback is, can you tell me how I did? Which is very important, very fine, very powerful. But Feedforward is, can you give me some input on how I can do X better next time? So it's the reverse of feedback. It's future focused versus past focused. And if you put the two together, it is the power package of, I think, personal and professional success. Feedback and feed forward. When you're getting feedback and you're asking for input, the feed forward type, to do better at something next time you do it, you're going to be unstoppable, I think.
there's a question in the chat. Marshall, what was his last name again?
Marshall Goldsmith. Linda, you probably are a fan of Marshall's, eh?
I am.
Yeah, and he's just amazing. I think of him as one of the founding figures of coaching itself, the field of coaching. Okay. And my hat is off to him.
Yep. Okay.
Well, Linda, with that, I think I'm going to leave you all.
We appreciate it so much.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. So thanks for having me back again. And it's great to be with you this time. I mean, it was great to be with Sue the last time, and great to see her again. But listen, everybody, I want to wish you the best of luck. If we're not already connected on LinkedIn, please reach out and we'll do that. I publish content several times per week, and my goal is to put ideas and content out there that'll be helpful to you to stay motivated, stay focused, stay alive and well in a difficult, challenging passage in your life.
Thank you so much. Fantastic. Thank you.
Terry.
Thanks, Terry.
You bet, everybody. Be well.
Have a good day.
You too.
God bless.
Good luck with the allergies.
Oh, they're terrible.
Thank you so much. It's just, part of life. Adios.
Bye, Terry. Okay, I'm going to remind you all as we're winding down that the chat will be in the private group, but you can also copy it yourself. And I actually recommend that. So there's several ways that you can do that, and several people put it in the chat as well. So one thing you can do is go to the top of the chat bar where it says Career Search Lunch and Learn, and off to the right, there will be 3 dots. Click on that, and one of those says Save Chat. That will give you a text file. Okay, you get to choose where to put it. What I prefer to do is, as some of you suggested, is that I copy the entire chat into a Word doc. And there are 2 ways of doing that. One of which is the old-fashioned way, right? You put your cursor at the top or bottom of the chat, slide all the way up or down, all right? Control C for copy, and then paste it into a doc on your own. Or click anywhere in the chat, okay? Not directly into a specific message, but click in the chat someplace, and it should say select all and then copy. That's normally the way I do it. It gives us a full picture, and then you can have those clickable links. Now, Ken didn't get a chance to mention it today, but here's one of the things that I started doing with the chat. Is that I throw it into, excuse me, an AI and get it to extract some of that information, those nuggets, those ideas, those URLs for me. Whatever it is you want to be able to pull from it, do. And what I do when I pull together my summary posts, I use that information as part of what's going on. I also use the transcript from the conversation. So there are lots of different pieces of information you can pull together, but that chat has valuable resources for you. If you haven't already connected with everyone in the group, please do so, okay? Build your network in a very quick, easy, non-threatening way. And we're all here to support one another because we're all here for the same reason. So that was one. And then the next thing is that I wanted to remind you about some upcoming programs. Next week, we're going to be talking about, is your introduction doing what it needs to do? So we've talked about the fact that we put introductions in the chat, okay, as part of our networking. When you meet somebody for the first time, what do you say? What's your headline on LinkedIn? All of those things. Lots, when even in an interview, tell me about yourself. Lots of different ways that we do that. We're going to skip that last one for the moment, the tell me about yourself in an interview. But next week, we're really talking about, what is your introduction? Does it tell me who you are, what you want? We're going to practice it. We're going to talk about what it really should include, where you can include it. And then we're going to break into small groups, give you an opportunity to share that again, get some feedback to see whether people really know what it means, to network with each other, to refine that pitch, okay, as well as to build your network. So that's going to be next week. On June 27th, we have Thomas Palmer, who is not only a recruiter, but he teaches other recruiters how to use LinkedIn Recruiter. Perspective, helping to make sure that you get seen and found. That's going to be an important session. On June 3rd, it's open season, right? The same thing we do the first Wednesday of every month. Any question you have, nothing's off limits, no topic listed, as long as it is career search related. Ask the career searchers. We'll see whether we can't get you not only answers, but actionable advice that you can immediately put into practice. And then on June 10th, Jeff Young, the LinkedIn guru, is going to be here to answer all the LinkedIn questions. We're going to see if we can stump him. Nobody's been able to do it yet. In any of the meetings I've been to with Jeff over the years, I don't know, see whether you can put something together, and it's always a first time. But if nothing else, what I love is that he's not only got the advice, the support, the information to get us those answers, he puts it into terms that even some people who are technophobes, who have LinkedIn issues or whatever technical issues, we can understand, we can implement, we can use. So no questions are off limits there either. No questions ever off limits in this group for anything. Sometimes we have topics, sometimes we don't, sometimes we stray, but it always works. Okay, I'm going to stop the recordings. just so that we can move forward. Remind you all to copy the chat, to reach out to those of us in the group, to join that private group if you haven't already done so. Where's my live screen?